My girlfriend thought it would be amusing to stick a "will work for food" sign on my back during a family barbecue. I brushed it off with a laugh, then slipped away quietly. The next morning, she woke up to find a moving truck parked outside. The past 6 months have been a deliberate unraveling and rebuilding of my life. I was let go from my role as a senior logistics manager, a position I held for 15 years. It was a well-paying job, but the company downsized and my name was on the list. Rather than diving back into the corporate rat race, I chose to invest in myself. I used part of my severance to launch a logistics consulting business, operating out of a home office in my spare bedroom. The work was grueling, the hours long, and the income, for now, a shadow of what I once earned. Still, I believed in my vision. My girlfriend of 4 years, Samantha, didn't share my enthusiasm. She'd grown accustomed to the lifestyle my previous salary afforded: fancy dinners, weekend getaways, and carefree spending. My new reality as an entrepreneur wasn't as luxurious. Her initial support slowly turned into subtle resentment, snide remarks, jokes that stung. She started calling my business my little hobby and asked when I'd get a real job, I told myself. She was just anxious about the uncertainty. This year, I hosted our family's annual barbecue, a cherished tradition. My parents, siblings, their partners, and a gaggle of nieces and nephews filled my backyard. I love hosting. It feels good to bring everyone together. I spent the morning prepping, tidying the yard, and firing up the smoker for the brisket. Samantha was acting strangely cheerful all morning. I should have seen it as a red flag. The party kicked off around 2. I was at the grill flipping burgers, chatting with my dad, and feeling at ease for the first time in weeks. While I focused on the food, Samantha sneaked up behind me and taped something to my shirt. I assumed it was harmless, maybe kissed the chef. For the next hour, I mingled and laughed, oblivious. Then my 7-year-old nephew Noah tugged on my shorts. "Uncle Ryan, what does jobless mean?" he asked innocently. I froze. My brother, standing nearby, looked livid and tore the sign off my shirt. It read, "Will work for food. Jobless and desperate. Please help." "My girlfriend pays for everything." My stomach dropped. Then my sister showed me Samantha's latest social media post, a photo of me at the grill. The sign visible captioned, "Getting the new man to work. Jobless and loving it. Charity case." When I looked up, Samantha was laughing with her friends. She caught my gaze and winked, as if we were sharing the joke. I realized then that whatever love we'd had was gone. But I didn't lash out. I smiled tightly and said to my family, "Wow, Samantha's got a wild sense of humor, huh?" Then I carried on, hosting, playing with my nephews, keeping calm. Inside, though, a quiet plan was taking shape. At around 6, I told my sister I had a headache and needed to rest. I encouraged everyone to stay and enjoy the food. Then I slipped inside, grabbed my keys, and drove to a quiet motel 20 minutes away. From that room, I made one call to a moving company that handled overnight jobs. I told them to arrive at 8 a.m. sharp, to pack one person's belongings from a 2-bedroom house. Samantha thought I was sulking in the spare room. She had no idea I wasn't even home. The next morning at 7:45, I sat in my truck down the street, sipping gas station coffee. The moving truck arrived right on time. I met the crew leader, a burly guy named Mike, and let them into the silent house with my key. Samantha was still asleep. I gave the movers a detailed list. All women's clothing, shoes, personal items, and everything from the office she'd turned into her workspace. About 20 minutes in, the rustling woke her. She stumbled out wearing one of my old shirts, face groggy. "What's happening?" she demanded. "They're movers," I said calmly. "I hired them. You're moving out." She gawked at me, disbelieving. "Moving out? Are you insane?" "This is about that joke yesterday, isn't it?" "It wasn't a joke," I said evenly. "It was a public declaration of what you think of me. I'm just accepting it. You don't humiliate the person you live with for laughs." She started crying, not regret but panic. "You can't do this. Half this stuff is mine." "Let's be clear," I replied. "I bought this house 2 years before we met. You haven't paid a cent toward the mortgage or bills in 4 years. You can take whatever you bought yourself. The movers have the list. They'll deliver it wherever you choose within 50 miles. Her world crumbled right there. She made frantic calls to her friends, who suddenly weren't so available, then to her parents. The movers worked quietly, professional and unfazed. By 10:30, everything was packed. Her things were headed to her parents' address. I handed her a small box with her essentials. She looked up, eyes red and swollen. You're really throwing away 4 years over one stupid joke? You threw it away, I said. You just didn't notice until now. I watched the truck drive off, leaving her on the sidewalk, waiting for her parents. I went back inside, shut the door, and for the first time in years, my house felt like mine again. 3 months have passed since that day. The first thing I noticed was the quiet, no more constant noise. No background chatter or TV shows I did not like. Just peace. My family reached out quickly. My mom was worried I'd acted out of anger. But when I showed her the social media post and explained the pattern of disrespect, her sympathy vanished. My dad, who had seen the whole thing, told me he was proud I'd handled it with dignity. Samantha tried to save face, online posting vague rants about toxic men and narcissistic exes. It did not stick. Too many people had witnessed the prank. The story that spread wasn't about a crazy ex. It was about a man, publicly humiliated, who finally stood up for himself. A week later, a letter arrived from her lawyer, demanding half the furniture's value, emotional distress damages, and that I continue paying for her car. My attorney responded with documents, the house deed predating our relationship, bank statements, and proof she'd charged over $10,000 on my credit card. We countered with a claim for debt repayment and defamation. Her lawyer dropped the case. Without my financial support, Samantha's lifestyle collapsed. She moved in with her parents, working a 9-to-5 customer service job. Her influencer dreams faded. The same friends who laughed at her joke stopped visiting once the free dinners and designer clothes disappeared. Meanwhile, I thrived. My consulting business took off. I landed a major contract with a regional shipping company, then another shortly after. I hired my first employee. The work is still intense, but it's mine, and that makes all the difference. Last weekend, I hosted another barbecue, smaller this time. Just family and close friends. My dad joined me at the grill, put a hand on my shoulder and said, "Ryan, I have not seen you this happy in years. It's good to have you back." He was right. I would spent years in a relationship that was slowly eroding my self-worth. Samantha's cruel prank did not break me. It woke me up. She thought she was labeling me worthless. Instead, she pushed me to rediscover my value. And for that, in a strange way, I'm thankful.